How has COVID-19 affected your ability to learn? We have all felt the weight of this virus and the change that it's had on our education. Think about the little kids and the impact that COVID-19 has had on their education. Because of COVID, elementary-age children are having to face many challenges regarding their education. As I am an older sister to a second grader, I have seen firsthand the impact that this virus has had on his education. The large impact of online learning in elementary education is evident through challenges, opportunities, and ultimately results. First, let's take a look at the background information regarding this topic. It all started about a year ago. The first week in March is traditionally the girls' state basketball tournament, and the following week is the boys'. The week after that is spring break. Last year, according to Helen Wilson's summer 2020 article titled Coronavirus Timeline, the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak an official pandemic on the 11th of March, and 2 days later, President Trump declared a national state of emergency. Wilson also stated that on March 16th, Nike closed all their locations across the country, and 3 days later, all states declared a statewide emergency. On March 20th, stay-at-home orders were announced all across the country, and on March 16th, 2020, many schools across Iowa closed indefinitely. Knowing a brief timeline helps us understand the impact of COVID-19. Next, we will look at some negative effects of online learning. Donna St. George, Hannah Natston, Perry Stein, and Lauren Lumpkin wrote in their 2020 article, Schools Adjust to Online Learning, that there are many problems with online education. Students do not all have the same access to technology and internet and the services that schools provide. Students with disabilities are required by law to have the same access to education as everyone else. This simply isn't possible with online education. Families in different situations also do not have the same access to the internet or school-issued services such as guaranteed meals and situation-specific help. In their 2018 book titled The Disruptive Power of Online Education, Altman, Andreas Ellsberger, Bernard, Claudia, and Weiser write that older versions of technology simply cannot keep up with online learning. Different learning programs are also required as everyone learns differently, and schools cannot always afford these different programs. Challenges will continue to rise and evolve as the presence of online education grows. Gates, Adam, Gortler, Senta, and Spasova's 2020 article titled Planned Online Language Education versus Crisis-Prompted Online Learning Teaching states that expectations and learning outcomes must be lowered because of the differences in online and in-person learning. The forced and rapid switch from in-person to remote learning has not only affected students but teachers as well, as their lesson plans and teaching methods had to adapt to the realities of online learning. As it is clear that there are multiple negatives to remote education, let's take a look at some positives. According to Vasori, Materno, Lastarsi, Safari, and Retina in their 2020 article titled The Usefulness of Online Learning on Quality of Education During the COVID-19 Pandemic, studies show that there are many positives of online learning. A study of nearly 300 schools showed that there was an uptick in the quality of teaching, the amount of student participation, and the quality of instruction. In their 2020 article titled Schools Adjust to Online Education, Donna St. George, Hannah Natston, Perry Stein, and Lauren Lumpkin state that online education has revealed an immense amount of care and support that teachers have for their students. The text also says that with students being at home, they have opportunities to participate in different modes of education that they might not have had a chance to do in person. Teachers also reported an uptick in quality of work that their students submitted. In his 2020 article titled Online Education is Better, Alex DeBork writes that a New York City student named Veronica Mintz states that she believes online learning is better than in-person learning. She said that she has more control over her studies, as she has said that the distractions and disrespects that would normally surround her in a physical classroom are non-existent in an online Zoom classroom such as this. She said that her teachers have had more time to personally help her and that the amount of wasted time sitting in classrooms can be used to further her studies. Online learning has had a major impact in elementary education, which is evident through challenges, opportunities, and results. So the next time that you find yourself complaining about wearing a mask or having to do online school, please pause and think about how challenging it must be for younger generations.